Okay, yo, we're going to make some corn pudding. With this recipe, I really don't have a recipe for it. I mean, it's just something you wing, you put it together. There's about 2 cups of bread croutons there, and I added about, I don't know, maybe a quarter cup of butter. But that's it. There's no Italian seasoning or nothing on these croutons. They're just buttered. Okay, now I just put them in the oven. I like to brown them first, and I'll show you why at the end. Okay, now, if you remember that a custard is 3 eggs and 1 cup of milk. Well, I'm going to use 4 eggs and 1 cup of milk. The reason is because of the cream corn. You need a little bit more glue, more to hold it together. All right, there was, I don't know, what was that, a half a cup of milk, flour, salt to taste. Don't go crazy with the salt because the cream corn is already seasoned. There's a little butter, pepper. Okay, then you're gonna mix that up. You gotta get that flour incorporated in there. I like to do it with the eggs and then add the cream corn because otherwise it's too liquidy and it's really hard to get the flour incorporated. You can use cornstarch too if you want. Okay, there's the rest of that butter. That was probably a quarter of a cup. I don't know, maybe a little less. Like I said though, this is all just done on the fly. I mean, you could look up a recipe, but all you have to remember is 3 eggs to 1 cup of milk will make any kind of custard. There goes the 1 cup of milk. But again, if you want something to bind together that's a little more liquidy, then you put in 4 eggs. But the ratio is 1 cup of milk to 3 eggs. If I put this in the oven right now, it would make custard. Basically this stuff is pudding. It's corn pudding. So, all right. What do we got here? Oh, okay. This is it's like 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking powder just to give it a little bit of the eggs will give it enough fluffiness, but when you take it out of the oven, the eggs are going to go back down. So this will kind of give it a little bit, a little texture to it. All right, there goes 1 can of cream corn. It's just regular cream corn. Okay, and then the corn over there on the left, the ears of corn, I like to boil them first. Then you don't have to worry about them cooking in the oven. So in other words, I boiled these for about 20 minutes. And now you're going to cut them off the cob. And when you cut them off, try to scrape out anything that's left in the corn. You get those little scrapings. That helps. All right, so we're cutting this up. All right, cut. All right, that was 2 ears of corn, by the way. Okay, now add that in. Okay, that's basically it, However, oh, wait. There's 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, like I say, that's basically it right there. However, I like to put croutons on it. We used to have it as kids, and my mom would put croutons on the top. And man, that stuff is dynamite. I mean, it's crisp. It's really good. So here's the croutons coming out of the oven. I browned them a little bit in this pan. The same pan I'm going to cook the corn pudding in. Here's a little bit of spray somewhere. There it is. Okay, I'm going to spray the dish. Going to pour this stuff in there. Okay. Come on, pour it in there. There we go. And then when I add the croutons, what I'm going to do is I'm going to smash them down a little bit so it kind of goes into the corn. It's not, you know, the croutons really aren't sitting on top once you push them down a little bit. You know, they absorb the pudding, and I mean, they just taste great. You know, there's nothing, only butter on here. That's all it is. You could use seasoned croutons if you want. You know, try it out, see what it tastes like. But I recommend you do it the first time. You do it with just plain. All right, there. Now I'm smashing them down a little. They're going to absorb a lot of the custard. Like I say, if you never made this before, okay, there's a little paprika, and it's going into a 300-degree oven. I'm sorry, 350. But I'm also making cornbread. So about 20-25 minutes in, I turn the oven up to 400 and I put the cornbread in. The cornbread video is coming right next after this one. But anyway, there it is. Now it's very hot. You know, whenever you take a custard out of the oven and you cut it, you know, it's going to break apart. If you let it set up, you know, it's perfect. But man, you should hear the crispiness of the crisp of this when I cut it like that. This stuff is gourmet, man. I'm going to have some turkey corn pudding, homemade cornbread, and mashed potatoes. Here, I'm going to show you what the bottom of it looks like. Now, that was in the oven for probably I don't know, 20 minutes at 350, and then maybe 30 minutes at 400. Look at the bottom of that. Man, this stuff is perfect. It's just perfect. All right. So anyway, it takes about an hour, 40 minutes to or 50 minutes to an hour. But I up the temperature when I put the cornbread in, so keep that in mind. Now listen, I got to tell you something. You might be able to find this somewhere else, but you're not going to find it any better than this. All right, see ya. I got to go. I got to eat.